the big thing that everyone's been saying on TikTok, right, is that the bizarre theory, and this is a million articles, but a bizarre theory emerges and claims that men think about the Roman Empire 3 to 5 times a week, right?
Yeah, obviously, like, everybody saw this so many times, and I, like, literally just refused to click on it until...
Fine, but I was thinking when this came...
About the Roman Empire.
No, you're the guy, because you always say, you're just like, man, if we lived in those times, it wasn't even gay. Like you've been...
Dude, mouth is a mouth.
You've been saying, the final days of the Romans, you always talking about the fountains, the baths. Like you could go to...
I was at Pompeii last
Augustine's Island. Augustine's Island.
Augustine's Island.
They had their guy at the time. Well, you've always been saying that.
Pompeii has literally like these like not mummified, but they're, the thing exploded and then these two dudes are just blowing each other and they're just locked like that for all of time.
That's why I always go, what are you thinking about? You go, just being Roman. Which part? Just kind of the stuff that Romans
do. No age of consent.
I'm thinking about some Roman shit, dude. Gladiators? I guess you could say that. There's some wrestling going on.
Some wrestling.
Well, but I guess the thing is, it does come up a lot because everyone sort of, talks about how it's the similarities and blah, 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 right? So it comes up a lot. I don't really sit there being like, fucking then I'll give you one of these and I'll give...
Well, I tried to watch that show Rome and then, I don't know. I heard some people say it was good and then I think it's on HBO and I couldn't get into it.
I'm more of a Sublime with Rome guy, but... No, the thing is Romans obviously was sick, but it's kind of like this era where... Because when I was kind of looking up Roman stuff, there's 50 articles, about the gay shit really kind of saying how gay they were, right?
Yeah,
but it's kind of unfair because really what happened is like what people always talk about is near the end of the thing, it started to get a little fruity.
Yeah, that's
right?
what happened.
So then
the end of empires.
So these like Huffington Post people kind of go back in time and they go like, it was so sick, everyone's gay. And you're just like, no, that was like a sliver of, it's like right now they wrote, if in like 100 years they're writing about like the American Empire and they're like, you could go on a subway and see a man dressed as a woman at any given time.
Of course.
And you're like, well, yeah.
Well, we're in the soft times cycle.
That's what I'm saying though, right?
We're in that part of it where everybody's gay and
dude, if you were like a Roman that was in like most of the time, you'd probably come back and be like, yo, it wasn't as gay as you guys think.
Because we were like fucking chicks like all the time. Like that's all we did was just smash sniz and fight each other with swords and like ride lions and stuff. And this is misrepresenting what was going on back then.
Well, there's an article right now. Again, there was a bunch of them, but like there was a Vice one, there was a BuzzFeed, Huffington Post, and all of it was just like every dude's going to gay prostitute. They're pushing it like it was this gay haven.
You know what I don't get about this Roman thing, and maybe you have some insight into this, because a bunch of it came from...
No, I don't.
These women, these like journalists who were like, yeah, I messaged my husband being like, how often do you think of the Roman Empire? And like all the husbands were like kind of in on the joke because they were all like, yeah, 5 times a day. Like all these journalists were like, I asked my husband, and they're like, yeah, I think about it every day. And they're like, what? And then
you saying there was like a little bit of irony involved even in the answers.
Well, but there was like a coordination with the guys because they all kept answering like, yeah, all the time.
Right.
Whereas like if my girl asked me that, I'd be like, I don't know, not really.
Some maybe here and there. I mean, I said it comes up a lot.
It comes up on a podcast or something. I'm listening to a history podcast maybe.
It does. No, it just does seem to come up a lot. So every time, and the fact that the correlations between the Roman Empire, I do think that there's the two parts of it. There's that, and then everyone just thinks like the gladiators were sick and shit like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Which they were. But I'm telling you, they go, before then, guys fucked other guys frequently. This is what I'm telling you. These are the kind of propaganda that's in these articles. It would be the equivalent if they wrote about New York in the future and they were like, there was dudes going to glory holes and you couldn't tell the difference between a guy and a girl, and you're just like,
nobody cared. Yeah, everybody was just all happy. That wasn't like
the normal vibe of the whole thing, right? Wasn't uncommon to see a naked man walking around the subway, and you're like, technically true,
sure,
but it is like not. Most people did think it was weird that a guy's walking around naked on the subway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They go, sodomy wasn't criminalized. Terms like gay didn't exist and masculinity was glorified. So it was perfectly normal for bros to just lust after each other like bros. I'm telling you,
was this BuzzFeed?
If the Roman Empire came back and they saw the smut that was getting written about their empire, I can't imagine these guys would be happy.
They'd be getting the swords out. And
they go, no, me and my bros were just sucking each other off.
Yeah, we were doing all sorts of stuff. We were pressing olives.
Yeah, that was
making olive oil.
And then some of them they go, and like sometimes they'll kind of do the thing where they go, the soldiers were gay or whatever, right? But you're like, that to me probably more the equivalent of like jail getting gay.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You're like,
There's,
oh,
no
they were
chicks around,
you were gone for 4 years without a chick in sight, and it was like you had two options. You either like have sex with the other guy's girls against their will. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, for sure. You rape and pillage.
Yeah, or you and the bros make a pact, like jail basically.
Yeah, yeah. Either way, though, this is propaganda.
And they're going, it was written into law that if you were getting the male prostitutes, that you had to be a top. You couldn't be a bottom with the male prostitutes.
There was a law?
That's what I'm down. They whatever book they found like the.
I mean, that's possible. There was a law.
No, but they found like, I don't know, what's that? Gender queer. What are those
that's just
books
like
called that they're
it's
trying
like
to
it
get?
ain't gay if you're a top law.
They found gender queer of the
That was
time.
like the most cope law of
They're
all
trying
time.
to
Look, not gay if you're a top, and we're gonna put it in the law. It says right here in the law that if you're a top and you fuck a dude, that's not gay. That's the law.
That's their don't say gay bill.
But that's like literally the law says that. They're like, well, who? I'm not above the law. Are you above the law?
Yeah. If the prosty's like, I'll do you now, and you go, not so fast, pal.
It's illegal and gay.
Books about ancient Rome have salacious stories about orgies and polyamorous emperors. I was like, yeah, I do get that polyamorous emperors were banging people. It's like, and then I think there was a few dudes that maybe slipped in there, the way that they slipped into David Bowie as well. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Even married a male slave, so one of the guys. And I get that this was probably the later years, though. You know what I mean? I think that they were much less gay, probably for the majority of the time.
Yeah, I don't know my history that well.
These articles are aggressive too. They go, in those times, two men could fuck in peace.
This is BuzzFeed?
And they would leave behind crude drawings of their prostitutes' dicks afterwards. So now it's like, oh, this is like the regular thing. It's like you found a drawing of a dick and you're like, my blogger senses are going off. I think what happened is two men were having sex and it's a customary for their traditions to draw the dick of that you just rode.
Just an 8-year-old.
Sure, yeah.
An adolescent boy at the time just snickering, drawing a dick on the cave wall.